Time two, so we're going to go live for the Bnei Akiva World. Exciting. I'm just going to make sure it's recorded for all you wonderful souls out there. The good news of what I heard and what I'm seeing is a lot of people have returned. Is that right? Yeah. So good news. We've got energy. Everyone's in the house. You don't have to do that whole Zoom nonsense. We are going to discuss. By the way, my name's Goldsmith. Someone asked. It's important that I remind you. Eli Goldsmith, however you want to say it. We're going to discuss yes, you can. I don't know if you've ever heard this concept. It's very important, crucial, and it's for the whole program. It's for Bnei Akiva, but it's also for the world. It's something which you should walk around feeling, and definitely coming up with Chanukah right now. Chanukah is that vibe, that light, that energy. Every time of year has an energy. And it's a time where you can really believe in yourself that you can. Yes, you can. Those three words. Go around saying it. Yes, you can. Yeah, I can. Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can talk.
Yes, you can talk. That's it. So we're going to flow. The first half we're going to flow. And that's for all of you to hear some important concepts. Then we're going to go into a Q&A because our bright friend over there in the corner requested it. Yeah, we're not going to do names today because if anything comes up that's a bit like wild and off the beaten path, I don't want anyone to feel like, oh no, I said something and they know my name, and so we're going to keep it like the camera's off you guys, so it can, if anyone's to blame, it will be me. Yeah, which is fine. Okay, so yes, you can. Now, I'll start off. Me personally, we're coming up to Chanukah. Now, I grew up in London. I already gave you my story last time I came, Northwest London. So if anyone wants to check it out who wasn't here, you can go there. There's a recording. And the guys in the boys group, in the Intimacy Boys group, will be able to send you the link. Somewhere feedback. Yeah, we've been discussing intimacy. I know you're thinking like, what? They're actually learning about this? Are they learning anything yet? Yeah, they are. So they've improved, trust me. I've been very impressed with their involvement. So as much as the girls want to give the bad rap to the boys about this subject, they're actually progressing. And the good news is I heard you guys are also learning intimacy. Is that right? Yeah. And I met your teacher and she seems really cool. And you're very fortunate because when I went to another program this previous weekend, all the questions pretty much that came up were about intimacy. They weren't asking me about, how do I make a living? I mean, that sort of came up, but the main thing was really intimacy. And it just shows you that you are in the right place, in the right time. And big up to Bnei Akiva, that they're learning with you stuff that's really real and relevant. And the fact that I'm sitting here is a proof to that, because I believe I'm on that flow. That's my whole vibe for 2023 souls. I want to be real and relevant. I'm not interested in old school ways of doing things, because we are, as we all know, guys, let's all focus. We are in a war right now. And as I said to the boys group about the focus concept, like the Intimacy Boys, we spoke about my son, and we're dedicating today's session to him, Baruch Yitzhak Ben Masha, alongside all the other soldiers. He's in Gaza. He's been there for more than 3 weeks now. By the end of this week, it'll be 4 full weeks without a phone, without being able to talk to his mum, talk to his dad, talk to his family, talk to his friends, and it's difficult. And one of the good things I know that he's the right person for this job is he's a soldier and he's dedicated. He is full on focused. He's got his helmet on the whole time. He's got his grenade launcher, his machine gun. He's dedicated. Yeah. So we're all going to try today dedicate ourselves. And by the way, this guy already gave me heads up that he had to leave, so it's all cool. And once again, it's recorded, so he'll be able to listen. That's the advantage of technology. So we're going to focus, and we're going to go on a little journey together into Chanukah. And the reason why this is so important was because, one, we're in a war. And what happened, everyone remembers, what happened with the Chanukah? I mean, it was a long war back in the day. But what do we celebrate? What's one of the things we celebrate? R begins with V. Victory, that's it. Good boy. Good man. Yeah, we're celebrating our victory. For me, Hanukkah is a very big victory growing up in London, because it was one of the few mitzvahs we actually did, one of the few things we did as a Jew, to light the menorah, and it was one of the few family moments where nothing else was going on, and we could actually just be together. And I mean, it was very far and few between when my father was there. I mean, I don't start crying, but the idea that we lit and we sang Ma'at Tzor, I don't know if you all had that experience growing up. You know, it's not really requiring religiosity. It's just a Jewish thing that everyone does. Is that right? Everyone here likes the menorah? I imagine, yeah. It's something that I grew up with, and we were far from religious. As my friend once said in Hong Kong, when I asked him about his girlfriend, I said, is she Jewish? He said, she's about as kosher as pepperoni pizza. So that was his answer. So that was where I was at probably in those days. And yet we still lit a menorah, thank God. So other good news is, if anyone wants an insight to that story, did I tell you the story about how I met someone at Prince William's birthday party? Yes. No, I'm talking about the girls. Did I mention it? Oh, so it came up this week, and this is going to be another part of the class. We're not just going to talk about Chanukah, but we're going to talk about relationships. And the reason why I'm mentioning Prince William is because coming up soon will be the exciting episodes of The Crown, if anyone's into it. Anyone likes The Crown? Who's a Crown freak? Yes. So there are a few patriotic people here towards the royal family, or not, because you can also see the not good side. Now we're bringing it up because I have one of my stories is when I met a very important person in my life, and my journey was at Prince William's birthday party. So that's just background for me that I've now excited. That's going to be featured on Netflix. You're going to be able to see a little bit of that time frame when he was around doing his thing. And I was also at the same age doing his thing, so obviously we've lived different lives, but just to put context of my journey growing up in England, and that was the kind of social scene that I was sometimes by, or other parties, other kinds of things. And yet now I'm here in Israel, I'm living in a frat, I've got my oldest son in the army, and how did I get there? What was the Chanukah miracle that happened for me? So first, we'll just say, bottom line is I found my soulmate. I spoke about that last time. I met her in the gym, and even that before that, shul hopping, and we were engaged summertime and married. Guess when? Chanukah. Chanukah was my miracle. Yeah, second night of Chanukah, married to my wife, and the Sheva Brachas went throughout as the candles were added. 2 candles, very significant, 2 flames becoming one, and then we lit each night, added another candle as we built our family. And funny enough, we're a family of how many? 8. You got it. So we're literally a Chanukah family. And the last Sheva Brachas was on the 8th night. And, you know, we can discuss how we managed to get to 8, but that would be a more personal discussion, obviously, and why we stayed with 8. But the idea is, I just made my bat mitzvah. Last time I came, I don't know if I'd made it, or I was on my way to make it. So that's the last child, the bat mitzvah that I've had to do. So that's what I'm holding. I'm holding Chanukah this year. You know, no more bar mitzvahs, no more bat mitzvahs. I've got all teenagers or older, and that's where I'm at. Now, you guys, thank God, you are at your crucial time of life, and not only that, you're a crucial time of this program. Especially the ones who've just come back, because you're going to catch up a little bit on what's been doing in terms of the growth that's going on being in Israel during this war. It's very intense for all of us, and we need certain times of inspiration to just keep us going, and also times to just collect ourselves. I've been here now a certain time period, and when you get to Chanukah, that's always a significant time period. I don't know if you're feeling that, but it's sort of like a good mark in the year where you can now assess what was and internalize what's going to be. And also an important tool is the power of prayer. You can talk to God, or however you connect, and start to think about what's coming and give thanks for what was and what's going to be. And you can also tune into the fact that Ala Nissim, that there's been a lot of miracles. The fact that we're all sitting here again in a large group, there's no more sirens. And even though there are a lot of people dying on our behalf or being injured, that's something else we need to think about. There's a lot of wounded. You're not hearing about that in the news, but I know people who are constantly around the wounded, and there's people with all kinds of situations. So we have to be very appreciative that people putting their lives on the line for us to be able to sit here in Eretz Yisrael in a secure way and hopefully get rid of our enemies. We all know that needs to be done now, and hopefully give us that security to be able to continue the rest of the year. And not just that, like we managed to make it through the year, but to make this year the best Bnei Akiva, world Bnei Akiva ever. Because this really could be the best. Why? One, because it's such special souls. Two, because you've got me in your program and you never did. I mean, that's a big up on your program. But three is that you have the opportunity now to be people that went through a war that never ever happened before, and to historically show your ability to be here for that and to be supportive and all the different things I mentioned in our Intimacy Boys group, that the guys have done so much acts of kindness, and I'm sure the girls are doing the same thing with the Israeli communities around you, and just turning up, showing your support, being here, being supportive by just being present in the land right now is a big statement. Because I'm sure some people are still not able to make it back, and I'm sure there's people who who are still worried for you, and yet you're here. So one, you have to give yourself a big round of applause. This is part of the yes you can concept, because one of the most important principles in finding a soulmate, in finding your success in life, is based on one word. Does anyone know what it is? We've discussed it. Huh?
One word, not three.
One word. Huh?
Intimacy.
It's connected, but one word. No, that's not far off. One word. What would you say? What would you say the most powerful thing in the world is a person has? Love? That's a good answer.
Relationship.
Soul? I'm all for that. My whole thing is soul, so I'm on your side. But what do people say? What's the general? Huh? Ambition. It's connected. Very much getting there. No? Huh?
Relationship.
Yeah, that's getting there. Another word? Yeah, I know. It's good. Enjoy it. You've got the recording. Yeah, just make sure you bring some food back after. What's the other word? Rotzen. Will. Yeah? All those words were good. But rotzen, will. Having a strong will is the key to everything. Yes, you can. You can do whatever you want. If you really want it, nothing will stop you. Have you heard that concept? Like, you really want to be success. You really want to find your soulmate. You don't want to just play around. You really want intimacy. You really want happiness. You really want life. You really want joy. If you really want it, you really want a successful business, you really want it, will anything prevent you to get it? That's the question. So it's obviously all based on how much you really want it, how much you believe that is effective, that's powerful, the will. Obviously you're choosing something that's realistic on some level, and you made the plans and the efforts to make it happen. But at the end of the day, what's going to fuel it, what's going to make it achieve full success is the rotzen, is the will. And that's something which is very deep. It's a very deep part of spirituality. It comes from the highest place. It's called Kesa. It's called the innermost part of a human being, of will. And funny enough, my wife, the numerical value of her name, Masha, is Rotzen, is will. She's like pure will. And this idea that you have the will, you have the ability to do anything. And this is how do we see that in Chanukah? Has anyone ever thought, like, I'm lighting these candles, like, what am I doing? So one of the most important things, one, the candle reminds us of what our friend, I think she just left, but she mentioned soul. That reminds us we have a soul, Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam. When you light a candle, you're lighting up that part of yourself which is already lit. It's already lit. You're already a lit person, but now it's manifesting outside of yourself as a soul. And you're lighting it up and bringing out that light. Very important, especially at Chanukah, because it's the darkest time of the year. It's already, as you see, getting dark early. And we're sitting at that time round about when we'd be lighting the candles. So you're bringing that light into the world, and it's growing night by night, just like my family did. Yeah? And that's the idea. So we're lighting that candle. That comes from that inner place of light. Now that place of light is a place of joy. It's connected. And it's also a place of gratitude, of thanking. Big ups for Chanukah to thank. We say Hallel, we sing. There's a lot of things. So one of the things I'm involved in, whoever knows, I'm a booking agent, yeah? So I'm booking artists all the time. So right now, coming up Chanukah, there's a lot of events. So right now, an artist asked me, do I want to go on tour with him? Thinking about it. He's thinking about it. It would mean like around 2-3 weeks away. Yeah, I know part of the schedule because I booked some of it, and it will be like in Vienna. It will be in like really cool places, like all around the US and Europe, and like, we're going to be doing a lot of traveling day after day, event after event. And one of the things that we'll be doing and bringing is a lot of light, a lot of good energy. And that's difficult when you're on the road to constantly generate energy. But what keeps you going is the rotzen again, is the belief that I can do this. I've done a lot of tours in my life. I've been involved in a lot of events. I've seen that what gives you success is the will. You have to keep believing in your mission and what you're doing. And that's what's got me through a lot. Okay. I think I've said a lot. I'm going to pause for a minute because I want to make sure everyone's involved in this. Yeah, I'm going to ask you now to ask some questions on Chanukah or the war or will or intimacy, whatever you want. Yeah, and any of those kind of subjects. And then I'm going to get back to help give us an example of will, of how yes you can. Go on, someone. Lead the way.
Question?
Yes.
I did.
I'm not scared. Well, I am a little bit. Yeah. So let me ask, well, some of the people who went back, what was it like? I'll ask you a question. What was it like to not be here during the war and seeing it all in the media and through your friends online, not actually being here? Was it hard?
Yeah. You felt very out of it, very segregated.
Yeah. So that was difficult. It was difficult for us as well, having you not here, because the energy level wasn't the same. I asked the guys, and I think even the girls as well, that it was a difficult thing to not have the full program. But at the same time, did you still feel connected even though you weren't here?
You say to the wall or to everyone here?
To everyone here. To the program and to
but not the same.
Okay, fair enough. And the war?
The wall not connected at all. It's completely
Wow. Yeah, so there has been crazy stuff going on outside of Israel as well. It's not like it's only in Israel. You know, my brother, who unfortunately he doesn't keep Shabbat, so he went to shul that morning, funny enough, because he still does go once in a while, but he went to Battersea Park for a big event, yeah, and because he's in the event world, and he gets out of there and he's suddenly caught up in 100,000 people protest that happened in London, and he phones me the next day, a bit freaked out about it all. And he starts blaming me a little bit, like as if it's my fault. I'm like, what? I didn't do that. And he said, it's the Israelis. Like, they're so bad at PR, and they're so this, and they're so that. And I'm like, what am I going to do? This is my brother. I love him. But he's thinking in the wrong way about this whole situation. And he's my older brother as well, so it makes it more difficult to tell your older brother, like, what to think and try to argue. So I had to, like, process this difficult experience and that's what we've all been going through on some level, where there's been voices in our life which don't understand the war, and that's a real thing, and we have to sort of look at the general situation and like have some clarity, but at the same time also know some things are not easy to clarify, especially when it's family and people we love. So I try focus on the love, like someone here said. The love aspect, like, really needs to be there no matter what, whenever you're talking about these things, because in the end, there's no point losing a relationship with people you love over these kind of discussions. But at the same time, I still have to say the truth. And there's that balance, that clarity. So we definitely missed the people who weren't here. And the amazing thing is you made it back. And that's what's happening. I just did a Shabbaton. Another 25 people just made it back in that program because they made it back, and they made it back in time for an amazing time. And that's one of the things that's going to take place, in my opinion. Like I said, there's going to be a catch-up. You're not going to miss out in the end, because you had to do what you had to do. And we're all together in the end. We're back together as a group. And the way it works in life is if you seemingly miss out, like, you know, the whole FOMO thing, you will not miss out. It's a lie. Like, you know, my oldest daughter had a big FOMO issue with friends, social scene. You know, I'm missing out this, I'm missing out that. And then she was running after people just to, like, you know, not miss out. But it wasn't really what she wanted to do and needed to do. So she had all the time FOMO, but the real thing is to tune into not what everyone else is doing, but this is my specific situation. How am I going to make that good? And that's like what Chanukah, it gives us a certain clarity of time and space and place and people, where we're supposed to be and who we're supposed to be with. And the beautiful thing is you're here. So you made it back, and it fills in a lot of space, a lot of time that was missed. Because, for example, I didn't grow up at all connected to Judaism, like in a learning sense. I didn't know anything. I couldn't even read Aleph Beis. And I was coming into a very religious world where everyone knew how to read. Everyone knew loads of information of Torah and experience. And I was coming like on the left foot. And I had to figure out how to adjust my life from this to that. I could talk to them about, anything in the music business or Hollywood or, his secular knowledge that I knew. But I couldn't talk to them about Torah like they could. So I had to fill in space. And what I saw, that in an almost miraculous way, I sort of picked it up very quick. And in a way, I ended up offering them insights that they wouldn't have had because of their life experiences and my life experiences. And now I developed the language to be able to communicate to them. So I hopefully, not only filled in my own space, but also became somewhat an inspiration to all the people that I was meeting in the so-called religious world. And that's what, like, for example, that's why you shouldn't ever feel bad you're missing out. Because time doesn't always, one of the things that Chanukah teaches us, that time doesn't always work like the way we think it. If you're not somewhere, you weren't meant to be there, and when you are there, you will fill in whatever you didn't seem to get. So that's an important comfort right now for people that are making it back. Next question. Anyone else got a question? Yeah. Where's Danny boy? He's always got something to say. Yeah. I'm patient, I can sit here. It'll be more fun to ask the questions. Anyone's got something? What's going on? Yeah, go on.
Are there ways to find like your will? What's that mean?
Say for?
Are there ways to find like your will? What's that mean? In a situation
Yeah.
that's hard?
Yeah, so if you want to develop Rotzen, you hear what he's saying. You want to develop a will for something. Like, I'm sure there's activities you're doing here that you're not so into. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe hopefully not this class, but there's always something, yeah? You're going to be like, this, not my thing. But I have no choice. So he's asking, I have to develop a will. So there's many tools and one of the things is visualization. Visualize yourself doing it like successfully or what comes out from doing it successfully. Having dreams, having visions of success in that thing is very important generation of will. Another one, which, that's once again, this is a personal thing, is the power of prayer, to pray on it. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that concept, but the concept of if you're struggling with something, you pray on it. One of the reasons why we lack as human beings things is just so that we should pray. Talk to God and ask Him to help us in whatever it is we're struggling with. So by praying for it, it develops a will. Because you start thinking about it more and more. Like, I'll give an example. I want peace. I don't want my wife, hating me. Yeah. So I pray for Shalom Bayit. And the more you pray for it, the more I want it, the more I actually start doing it. So it comes together. Another thing is to learn about it. To really learn about that thing you're struggling with, and that will develop more of a will. So there's three things. Visualization, putting prayer, like time, dedication into that thing, and third is to learn about it. The more you know, the more you have clarity on that thing, and nowadays with Google or whatever, you have access to everything information-wise, so you can honestly get a good insight to that subject, and therefore, once you have more clarity of what that subject is, or that thing, activity you're doing, you'll be able to have more of a will for it, more of an understanding why it's important, and therefore you'll do it better. Okay, is that clear? Great. Anything else? Next. Like, guys, come on. Like, you're not all like living like in the perfect messianic days. We're in a war. Like, there must be something bothering someone. I mean, I've got things bothering me. I can talk, but I want to hear from you. Tell me, please. Ask God. What's been like going on like right now? I mean, like, this is a transition time, yeah? It's getting darker. Like, the schedule's starting to hopefully get back to a good place. Your family are a little less worried about you being here, hopefully. You know people that, God forbid, have been in the war. What's going on? Tell me. I mean, like, I'll tell you, one of the things that we're going through, like my wife, she's trying to keep herself together, knowing that she hasn't spoken to her son for 4 weeks almost, and they're very close. And so that feeling of so one of the things that's helped a lot, something probably you guys are doing for other people, is getting that support for people who have soldiers in the war. People are sending us bouquet of flowers. People are sending us collars. People are sending us, today we got beautiful presents from Haredi families who don't have kids in the army and they want to feel part of it. So they sent out these packages, these beautiful cups and hand creams, very stylishly done. And I gave it to a bunch of parents who have children in the war. Yeah. So there's things going on that just help take off your mind. My wife does Magen David Adom. She got a gun recently. Who's into guns? Anyone here? Yeah, she got a gun recently. So she's going out now and doing Magen David Adom, helping people, the ambulance service, and that is channeling that feeling of helplessness, having a son in the war, is channeling it towards kindness. This is a kind of ability to, yes, you can, even during a war, you can do good things. It feels a bit helpless in a way. Does anyone feel like that? A bit overwhelmed, there's this situation we can't really do much about, and you know it's going on and it's affecting our people day after day, but yet at the same time, you can do something. What can you do? You can do acts of kindness, you can be supportive, be there for people. There is things you can do. You can pray, you can bring a good energy into the world for the community. So what else? Anyone else got anything to ask? Because I'm just talking.
I feel a little bit. I don't really know what to say, but I feel in a bubble. I feel even when I'm praying, and I have a brother in the army, and it's really scary. Right here in this place, I feel not connected. I'll tell you honestly. When I'm praying, I'm feeling I'm saying the stuff that I need to say. I'm not really feeling it here. When I'm coming back home, I'm feeling it the war. I'm feeling insecurity to go home by the bus. I feel my brother is not home. Yeah, but when we are here, I don't really feel it.
So that's beautiful, yeah, because that's most of us, even me as a father of my son in the army. My wife's thank God, much more in tune with the emotions, but I'm also feeling what you're feeling. I feel a bit in a bubble. I'm living in a frat, life is good, I'm still doing business, I've got bookings going on. I don't need to stress too much about that whole situation personally, even though it's my son. I should be stressed. In fact, I should be screaming in prayer for my son's life. And one of the things I'm saying to myself, why don't I feel more? I relate. Why don't I feel more? Why aren't, in the beginning, initially, I was freaking out and I was feeling a lot. But now it's been how long? 5-6 weeks. It's hard to keep feeling that day after day. And it's hard to generate that concern in a real way that's really sincere. And these are real things. So once again, we have to work on that and say, yes, I can get to that place where I really care, because I have been at that place at certain times, but I shouldn't be hard on myself that I need to be like that all the time. You have to be realistic that it's for moments. But the way it works with these kind of things, with relationships and a relationship with God and it's going to be moments in time where you really connect. And the rest of the time, you just have to be realistic that there's other things to do. That you can't all the time be tuned into that feeling of the war and your family involved in it. You have to be realistic, you're a human being. But in that, what you can say to yourself, and it's true, is you're doing overall a lot of good things in your day that contribute towards that situation, even if you're not feeling it. And that contribution also means something. And remember, saying words of prayer, even when you're not totally into it, also have power. Because it shows already a level of connection that you're even giving time to it. Just the time itself means something. The fact that you're giving time to pray for your brother or pray for your son or pray for your sister or your niece or your brother, cousin, whoever it is who's in the war, giving time to it means something. And it's not a waste of time. Everything has an effect in a positive sense. That's what we have to believe very strong. And that's why, once again, back to Chanukah, lighting this little flame, you think, what am I doing? seems like such a silly little thing, like lighting a candle. I light a candle anytime. But the point is, because there's a certain energy in the world that time, and it reminds us of this miracle that will continuously happen throughout history, not just back then, but it's happening right now. I'm going to tell some stories. Anyone heard stories about the war so far? Miracle stories? I mean, someone just told me a story the other day about the tanks. Did anyone hear that story? How they all just got out of the tanks, like out of nowhere. They just sensed like just like now, this sound went off. Something went off in the tank, and then they were just like, "We need to get out," and they got out, and then the other 2 tanks got out, and they all got out, and there was 36 of them. Nissan Black told me this story. I don't know if you know Nissan Black. He told me at this Shabbos. I didn't know the story. I heard it from Nissan Black. His name's Miracles. That's literally his name. So he told me this story, and he said, and they all got out. And I said to him, "Do you realize 36 is not just whatever?" He said, "What do you mean? I didn't think about it." So 36 is the amount of candles you light Chanukah. Yeah? It's also the amount of Gemaras and Shas and Tzaddikim, righteous people. There's a very significant number, 36. The point is, I said, there was 36 candles. They all got out. And there was a miracle that happened. 3 tanks blew up, no soldiers dead. They thought they were all dead, the commanders, because they see all the tanks gone. But they were all alive, all 36 of them. And they just, for some reason, got out their tank. There's things like this happening every day. Miracles and miracles. The fact that we're sitting here is a miracle. Like, we're just trying to tune in to the light that there is in the darkness. There's a tremendous darkness. But where there's light, there's still a little flame. And what does a flame do when you light a candle? It dispels the darkness. And even better, what I feel my journey in this world is about turning darkness into light, about turning pain into joy, into love, and lack of love into love, like hatred into love. This is partly what we do as Jewish people. That's our power. We've done it. It's kept us alive all of history. One of the things, Nissim was talking to a guy called Officer Tatum. He sent me the link himself this morning. You heard of Officer Tatum? Anyone heard of Candace Owens? So he's very close. He's very close with Candace. So Nissim's hoping by talking to Officer Tatum, he'll influence Candace to get her out of the mess that she's suddenly in with the Jewish people right now. So anyway, he was speaking to Officer Tatum just 2 days ago or so, and one of the things he said, the biggest miracle, and I mentioned this last time I was here, is the fact that Jewish people exist at all. Who did I quote? Who remembers? It's good to review whoever was here. Who was the famous non-Jew, writer who wrote about the... Mark Twain, yeah. So Mark, that was the other person I mentioned. So at least you remember that. So that's good. So Mark Twain was the writer who reminded us the biggest miracle of history is the Jewish people's existence. So we're just tuning into that fact that we are miraculous people, that we are here living in the realm of miracle constantly. The fact that we're such a small nation surrounded by hundreds of thousands, millions of people who want to get rid of us, and we're still here no matter what, is a miracle. Our existence is miraculous. Everything we've gone through. The fact that I even care about Judaism based on my life story. I had a great life over there in London. And Judaism, like I heard from my brother, he's not so into it. So how did it be that suddenly someone wakes up? That's a miracle. Yeah, I woke up and I just got inspired, and that's a miracle because I could have lived a completely different life. Like my friend said about me back in the day, said Elliot, that was my English name. Elliot, his eyes are going to be like involved with gangsters or some crazy party business world, or he's going to become some cult leader or something. That's what they said about it. It's definitely not going to be just your average Joe. That's what all my more straight shooter friends felt about me. They liked that about me because we had fun. But the point is that you have to realize each of you are a miracle. You have to believe that. You have to have that self-belief. It's something really important about Chanukah. There's a certain, I don't know if you feel that when you light the candle and you're with your family, and this year you're going to be with your friends in the program, and you're going to have your donuts and your hot drinks or whatever it is you do, or a few l'chaims. There's a certain warmth, that you feel Chanukah. I don't know if does anyone feel that. It's not just the flame. There's something beyond that. So can't explain it. You feel like you're protected. Something good's going on. Does anyone get that vibe, or is it just in my head? Sometimes I feel like I'm in my own mind feeling these things. Anyone felt that? Yeah. You feel supported. Right now we need that feeling. There's a crazy program. We need to feel there's something beyond us, beyond this world is supporting us. We're not alone. There's something beyond ourselves supporting us. Does anyone else have a question? I want to get some questions. Come on, give it on. And no one's feeling angry right now, pissed off. I've got plenty of things I can get pissed off about. Come on, say it. You want to say something? I know you do.
I want to say them, but I don't know what.
Danny boy, what are you saying? You kept quiet.
Danny has something to say.
One more minute. So there's one more question from one of our wonderful girls. What do you want to say? How's the intimacy classes going by you guys? I'm just interested. It's good? So some of the concepts I have shared with the boys, like just letting you know I am on your side a little bit, guys. Sorry, I'm married. Like, it makes you a bit more sensitive than the general guy. Yeah, once you get married, you start to realize that you have to respect ladies. You know that? Yeah. Huh? Ah, yes, that's what we're trying to. I'm just saying I'm more aware of it, so I'm trying to share it. So there must be a question based on that, those kind of things. Like, I don't mind talking about it. Not getting too into it now because it's a mixed situation, but I don't mind discussing a little bit. Yes.
How do you expect, because you mentioned faith?
Yeah.
How do you expect, especially people that have been dropped twice, like the Holocaust and now this, to still have faith in that mission?
Yeah, that's. I mean, anyone in the Holocaust who went through the Holocaust, there's no expectation, nothing.
And also, once you've been through it, you don't have the expectation that it will happen again. But now that it's happening again, it's just less.
Yeah, that's really traumatic. So the ones who I've listened to some Holocaust survivors who, thank God, they're still around, who are traumatized by what's going on, because it's awakened all the past scenes in their mind of everything that happened and the hatred and it's crazy. They're being traumatized right now from this situation. And if you listen to that generation of people, one, as I said, very big rule. We never expect nothing from a Holocaust survivor. What they went through is unexplainable, and there's no judgment or expectation of any level of faith or anything. The fact that they are any level of Jewishness or any level of conversation is a huge achievement in just self-development, that they're able to overcome that tremendous trauma that we can't even understand. And I hope this current war isn't as bad as that, but we might have to say the same thing for all those who survived, like Nova and all the people that in those initial October the 7th days and were exposed to such Holocaust-style experiences. We also can't judge any of them. The interesting thing has been that there's a lot of young people who have been awakened by those moments, where they've come out of it very, maybe not religious, but just wanting to connect to their people more and wanting to understand what they went through on a spiritual level and trying to now open themselves up a bit more. There has been a lot of awakening, as well as in the army. There's a massive request for tzitzit and things that connect us to our people. It doesn't mean once again becoming religious, it just means they want to connect. So there has been an awakening during such a war like now. But to go back to the Holocaust survivor people that are experiencing both, it's beyond words. They hoped that the liberal democratic America and UK and Europe and everyone had gone never again. That's what they hoped. But unfortunately, we say never again is now, meaning it's happening now, and we need to once again awaken ourselves. But the difference is, what's the big difference, brother? What's the big difference now? Before you leave, what's the big difference now?
It's a big difference.
Tell me, what is it? Say me in one word. What's the big difference? You answer them. What's the big difference now? What do we have that they didn't have in the Holocaust?
Army, the country, the defense force,
Pilots.
My son's in the army.
Hada.
I haven't had anyone from my family in an Israeli army in history. There never was one. Maybe back in the temple times, or who knows what. But in any history I know, we've never had an army. We've never. And since the temple times. And that's beyond our mind right now. Right now, we're looking historically, a few thousand years, we didn't have an army. We didn't have such infrastructure of support. Even as I said, my wife's with Magid David Adam, the fact that there's all these organizations that are caring and helping and supporting, and the fact there's all this whole podcast reality that you can hear from a Holocaust survivor, how they're dealing with your question. I can send you a link. If you ask my number, I'll send you a link of a Holocaust survivor having that exact conversation. And by the end, she's crying. There are people discussing. There's podcasts now. Thank God, there's ability to record and hear from that generation now, and it's amazing that there's opportunities for us to hear from that generation on a global level and understand what they feel about it. So we do get answers. In the time of Holocaust, who could they talk to? Who could they listen to? How could they get comfort? Where was their comfort from? They go back to their old town. There's no one there anymore. They're just going, or people who hated them or stole their houses, or they even if there were people that had still who they loved, but they were in a broken situation and it couldn't help them. So we're in a whole different opportunity right now to really, as our friend's saying here, with the army and the country, to actually have victory. This time we can be victors rather than victims. So it's a big turnaround. There's a lot of hope right now in the positive sense. Okay, good question. Anyone else before we end off?
I have a question.
Danny, yeah, we were waiting.
It's a two-part question.
Perfect.
It's not related to the war.
No problem. Good.
So when you were not religious, did you believe in God?
Yes, that was interesting. I funny enough, I had a real God moment in the toilet, would you believe? I'm not joking. I had a God moment in a nightclub with my ex-girlfriend. I told you that story. And she was dancing and saying, "You're free, gotta be what you got to be." And I had that word, "Yes you can," going off in my head. I can do this. I don't need her anymore. I have a different mission in life. In a nightclub, I had this awakening, like God moment. It was in that Magaluf. Yeah, Magaluf nightclub. Yeah. I had a God moment in Magaluf. Proper God moment. And I acted upon it. I told this story last. Remember I told the story with the club girl? I ended up at some girl's house afterwards. A girl's apartment. She was a club girl. You know what club girl? She was like ready for action. Yeah? I was back at her house. I did nothing. Her apartment. I did nothing with her. All I did was speak about relationships, and I gave her comfort, and I left, and that was it. I didn't sleep with her. I didn't even kiss her or anything. And I had a God moment in Magaluf. I'm not joking. All right, that's a great point. Second question, yeah.
Well, actually, no, it's a three-part question.
Yeah.
Did you always believe in the power of prayer?
All right, so the way I access prayer, great question, Danny. The way I access prayer in that secular lifestyle that I was, like totally secular, how did I access prayer? It wasn't in Reform. I wasn't going to learn it in Reform synagogue. Sorry, it just didn't do it for me. The rabbi there looked like the Dark Emperor from Star Wars. It just wasn't doing it for me, yeah? So the way I connected in prayer was through music. For me, music was my entrance way to prayer. Writing songs. I have an album. You can. It's actually offline right now. It's online, some of it. It's on SoundCloud. Spotify went off. Some joker messed up the whole thing. But anyway, I have an album. I can get it to people if anyone wants it. It's called Together. And I wrote through songs, I prayed to God. That's how I got to, and through music experiences, through going to like a Radiohead concert. I felt like I was connecting to something so beyond the creativity of that band. Or, I could go through a long list of certain concerts I went to that were so beyond, like Prince. I know he's the opposite of spirituality, but he's so talented. He was so beyond talented that he took you into a realm. Or like MJ. Yeah, MJ was, I know he's got his problems, but he was beyond talented. Or Stevie Wonder, or any one of those times that I was meritorious to be at shows, Queen, to go to the Freddie Mercury tribute. That was like a godly experience. Seeing Axl and John, forget about Elton John, but Axl Rose singing a Freddie Mercury song while Freddie was somehow singing even though he wasn't there. Having those moments, or Live Aid, seeing everyone join together and saying, "We will rock you," and or "We are the champions," like that connects to "Yes, you can." Having those moments of like spirituality that music bridges us to, that for me was how I connected to prayer, through music. Yeah.
Did you go to Live Aid?
Live Aid, I was there, yeah. I was VIP royal box. Yeah. What's the third one?
Forget about it.
Forget about it. That's another one. That's the best advice, by the way, Danny Boy just gave us. Forget about it. Yeah? Why? No, I'm not joking. It connects into this concept called letting go. Sometimes you can't always control stuff. You admit? You want a relationship with someone, like you really care about them, but they're just not interested. I was saying nowadays there's this whole thing with ghosting. We were talking about it yesterday, that people just get ghosted even after they just connected. I hope none of you have to go through such a horrible thing. but it's something that happens nowadays. It's talked about. And the idea is you just let go. Let go. It's a big foundational thought, and it's very connected to Chanukah. You're always adding light. You're always going forward. That is an important key to life. And I know, the guy I listened to, a guy called Gedalia Fenster, who said this. He said, and please don't be offended, but women tend to hold on a bit more to certain experiences and feelings. It's a strength because it means they really experience life in a deep way. But when it's holding you back, they need to let go and move forward. And that's like an example he brought. That you have to sometimes just let go and move forward. Emotionally, don't let these guys get into your head and heart. Move forward. You got your life, you got your thing, you move forward. You let go, you're good. Is that cool? Yeah? I hope I didn't offend anyone with that. I'm just trying to be honest, yeah? Okay, anything else? Yeah. By the way, Andrew Tate's out of I haven't listened to yet the Piers Morgan thing, but he's a bad influence on most men, I would say, even though he holds he's a great influence. But he's also now, we're going to hear about it tonight from Piers Morgan, he's not pro-Israel at all. Yeah, the opposite. So drop him. Yeah. What? No, I want to hear.
No, I was saying I want to watch it.
Oh, you want to watch it? Yeah. You want to watch it to not watch it. It's that kind of feeling. Yeah. My daughter went through the whole first part already, and she's telling me the second part's coming tonight. So, anyway, look, there's so much we could talk about with Chanukah. I just end off with my own Chanukah miracle story. Yes, one more question. Did I eat too many? What?
No.
What do you say? Who ate all the pies?
Yeah.
Oh, I love donuts, man. But I'm the best ones are my wife's. And if guys are around and girls also, we live in a frat. When she makes her homemade donuts, the best thing about them is they're actually healthy. She somehow does it with whole wheat and lack of oil, and it still comes out. It doesn't look like the ones in the shops, but it's healthy and it's still nice. And it's very comforting, yeah? She uses minimal, very small amount. It's not like overload,
I really tried.
Huh?
It's really dry.
No, it's not dry. It's geschmack. She puts in, the inside is more healthy as well, what she uses inside. The point is, you shouldn't, remember, what do we do what do the Jewish people do when we win this war? What do we do?
Make babies.
We eat. Yeah, make babies. We eat. Yeah?
I'm serious.
What's the Jewish approach? We thank God and we eat. That's every festival. Purim, Pesach, Chanukah. Yeah? We've got our formula. Yeah? We yeah, you hear that? They try to kill us, we won, now let's eat. Everyone's into that? Huh? Yeah. Got it. That's it. So we're going to be having a big party this year when we win this war. I'm working on it. I have a unity song I'm working on. I was speaking to Subliminal. I don't know if you're into any of these Israeli artists. Subliminal, Kobe guy, Hassel. Anyone knows Hassel? Yeah. I'm speaking to these guys. I'm speaking to Mattis Yol. I'm trying to get everyone on this song. Yeah. I want a unity song. I'm in the process. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm talking to all those people. I'm speaking to Yishai Rebo's management. What? Who? Yeah, they're good, no? Fire. Yeah. Oh yeah, cool. Oh yeah? Let's do it, man. I'm all about it. So we got to make a unity song. If you guys have got contributions, send them to me. Maybe, yeah. No, I'm pretty open-minded. But the point is we're bringing together as many artists as we can, as all the American artists, speaking to Yishai Rebo's management, trying to get Akiva involved, trying to get any of the big artists, Hanan Ben-Ari. We want everyone. Nissim Black, of course, I'm close with him. Alex Clare, been doing music stuff with him. Trying to bring as many artists as possible into this unity song. And the goal is to get us to a unity concert eventually. An event which celebrates us winning this war with unity. That we did it together. And you're all part of it. Never let any voice in your head think you're not connected, you're not part of it. I know sometimes we feel disconnected, but the truth is you're so connected. Just once again, lighting a little candle lights up this world so much. And that's the truth of everything you do. Everything you do, you can do it. It's so easy to light a candle, just like everything else you're trying to do in life. You can do it. Believe you can, have the rots and have the will, and bring a bit more light, and realize that a little bit more light dispels a huge amount of darkness. And that's the key for us to win this war, with that true belief in ourselves and our people and our destiny. And I'm looking forward to celebrate. I think it's good times ahead. Whatever Live Aid was, this is going to be much bigger. The whole world's going to be witness to this huge unity concert. And that's my dream. That's my vision. That's what gets me up in the morning. So guys, everyone, keep visualizing your success in this program, in your personal life, in finding a soulmate. And we'll hopefully do another session. It will be a step forward even to what we did today. And I'm love seeing so many people come. Thank you. Thank you. Keep it up.
Thank you.